Today we are going to discuss Wicked and Defying Gravity to learn from Elphaba about how you can develop self-belief, self-confidence, and empower yourself if you were bullied, neglected, belittled, or manipulated, how to stand up for yourself and your values, and how to act with integrity in challenging life situations. I'm also going to reveal the surprising truth about why somebody may become wicked or evil.
Hello and welcome to the Sapiego channel. I am Bori and I am super excited about today's song and topic because I absolutely love Defying Gravity from Wicked, because I think that most of us can identify with this song. For one reason or another, you can feel that you don't fit in, and also you can have a defining moment in life when you realize your power and don't want to suppress yourself anymore. You know, Glinda the Good witch and the Wicked Witch of the West from the classic Oz film. As it turns out, when they were young, they attended to the same school, She's University, and although they initially loathed and hated each other because their personalities were completely different, they slowly developed a friendship which changed both of them. Glinda, or as she was called at that time, Galinda with a Ga, was always popular, bubbly, shallow, and got what she wanted. She had an easy life. In contrast, Elphaba, who later became known as the Wicked Witch of the West, had a really tough life. She was born with green skin, and because of this sole reason, neither her family nor anybody else accepted her. She was constantly bullied and put down, and she was constantly longing to be accepted and loved. She had a fantasy that if she had met the wizard, he could put everything right and her life would change for good. But when she finally met the wizard, she soon realized that the wizard was a fraud, and actually he was behind the events that were really upsetting and unacceptable to Elphaba. The wizard wanted to use Elphaba's magical powers for his purposes, but when she refused, they launched a witch hunt and created a propaganda spreading accusations about Elphaba's being wicked. And this was a defining moment in both Elphaba's and Glinda's life, when they had to make a decision about what they stood up for. Both of them are stunned, but their reaction is entirely different. Glinda is led by fear and ambition at this moment and wants to play along with the wizard's demand, while Elphaba is led by courage and integrity and realizes that
something has changed within me. Something is not the same.
She's in shock and disbelief and extremely disappointed. The curtain lifted and her idol, whom she used to look up to, fell. And in what an unbelievably traumatic way. She was used to being bullied and cast out before and could bear it quite well, but this is just another level which is hard to grasp and believe that it's happening to her. Because this is one of the most cruel ways to treat somebody. When you decide to be yourself and start to crave out your own path independent of others, they sense that they are losing control over you. This makes them feel threatened, and frustration and fear make them furious, and in order to try to take back control over you, they paint you as the bad person in the public eye, which in Elphaba's case literally means a witch hunt. So she experiences a moment that shatters her whole worldview that I'm sure that you have experienced as well at some point in your life. And as you have changed your perspective in that situation, Elphaba is changing her perspective as well.
I'm through it playing by the rules of someone else's game.
She realizes how much she suppressed herself in her attempt to try to fit in, and how much she went along with the rules that she couldn't identify with. That wasn't how she really felt, what she really thought, and how she wanted to express herself. And this current ask from the wizard is just simply too much. She cannot compromise anymore.
Too late for second guessing. Too late to go back to sleep.
The sudden and instinctive decision that she said no to the wizard's request and ran away, and the unbelievable events that followed finally catch up with her. She starts to see the events with a clear head, and she realizes that for her there is no way back. This is the moment of truth. She has to listen to her guts, embrace her values, stand up for herself and for what she believes in.
It's time to trust my instincts, close my eyes, and leap. It's time to try defying gravity. I think I'll try defying gravity, and you can't pull me down.
When a moment like this happens to you, you are not sure what you'll do, but you know that you have to make a change. There is another way of living, another road, maybe not a yellow brick road, but a green brick road that you need to take your first step on and follow. You need to figure out what your life would look like based on your own values and your own terms.
I'm through accepting limits because someone says they're so.
Have you ever had anybody in your life that you just couldn't go along with anymore and was done with them trying to chain you and control you? I definitely had. I had enough of some people trying to tell me what I should do and how I should live my life. So I personally can deeply identify with Elphaba's outrage here and how her suppressed frustration and anger find their way to the surface and come forward as she realizes how others trying to control her.
Some things I cannot change, but till I try, I'll never know.
Yes, there will be things that you would like to change, but they won't happen. But still, you need to try, otherwise you don't know what you are capable of and what you can achieve.
Too long I've been afraid of losing love. I guess I've lost. Well, if that's love, it comes at much too high a cost.
Those people who had a traumatic childhood often desperately try to belong, be accepted and loved, and therefore go along with any role, rules and games that others create for them. But if others only love you, if you do as they tell you, that is not love, that is manipulation. When we are kids or young adults, we might not see that we are manipulated and used. But if you are lucky, there comes a day when you finally wake up to what's really going on, that you and your skills are just used for the other person's purpose and advantage. And you realize that what you thought love was, that is actually not love. You realize that giving up your true personality and suppressing your authentic self is an extremely high price to pay for you to be accepted, because it's slowly killing your soul.
I'd sooner by defying gravity. Kiss me goodbye, I'm defying gravity, and you can't pull me down.
If you are a relatively healthy personality under all the mess, one day that authentic part of your soul and personality awakens, and you realize that placing your self-worth on what others say is a very limited way of seeing yourself. You finally realize that how you see the world is as valid and as real as how others see it, and your beliefs are as valid as others' beliefs. This genuine personality part awakens in Elphaba at this moment, and she finally starts to place her self-worth on herself, not anybody around her. Her decision of standing up for herself and the values she believes in and going on her own way solidifies and becomes final. She starts to see an alternative path for herself where she is capable and lives in an authentic way.
Unlimited. My future is unlimited. And I've just had a vision, almost like a prophecy. I know it sounds truly crazy, and true, the vision's hazy, but I swear someday I'll be flying so high.
Elphaba has no idea about the exact details of how her future will look like, but she has a feeling of her awakening power, a sense of her capabilities, and the dreamlike vision of her final goal. How was it for you when you have arrived to a crossroads in your life? Did you have a clear vision and defined steps of what you wanted to do and how you wanted to move forward? Or was your vision hazy and blurry like Elphaba's? My personal experience is that when you are at a crossroads in your life, when you know that you need to make a change, you often don't have clear ideas in your head about the steps that you need to take, just a blurry vision. You just have a feeling and a sense of direction about where to move forward, but you don't know the details. I think that at this stage, knowing the details doesn't matter. At a moment like this, the only thing that matters is going with your gut feeling, following where your authentic self takes you. If you are interested about how you can go from setting a goal based on your true authentic desire and personality to actually make it happen, I can help you to do that with my stress-free effective goal setting course that you can find on the Sapiego website under the Academy section. The course is completely based on my own experiences, so I'm going to teach you how I personally set and achieve goals. At a life-defining moment like this, it is very important that you stay true to who you are deep inside, that you give in to your own values and you are building that hazy dream on those values. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks or says. The important thing is that the dream and vision makes sense to you. Actually, this whole dreamy middle section appears in the musical twice. When we first hear it in the song The Wizard and I, Elphaba is younger, naive, and still bases her self-worth and hazy dreams on attachment to idealized figures. By the time we hear it in Defying Gravity, she has matured, broken her attachment bond to idealized people, and her self-worth is grounded in self-acceptance and embracing her own values. But she still loves Glinda. Her friendship with Glinda is still very important to her. So this dreams section actually becomes a duet between her and Glinda, because she tries to convince Glinda to fly away with her. And Glinda almost gives in, but finally decides not to go. Because standing up for her cause and flying away is basically Elphaba's dream. Glinda's dream is something completely different. She still longs to be popular and loved and admired by everybody. And the distance between the two dreams cannot be breached, therefore there is no other solution but to depart. Imagine losing your best friend, whom you truly deeply love from your heart, because you are making a different life choice in the same situation. Elphaba cannot stay because that would be a huge compromise for her, that would kill her soul. And Glinda cannot go because being in exile would ruin her because of her need to be at the center of attention and admiration. You love each other, but you cannot stay together because that would compromise the core of your personality. So you cannot do anything else but wish the best to the other person and let them go. Have you ever had to let a close friend go from your life? How did you feel and how did you manage it?
Kiss me goodbye. You'll never pull me down.
By deciding to depart and go to their separate ways, Elphaba becomes free of the lust tie that used to hold her back. She steps into her full power and potential as she takes the broom and flies for the first time to escape the guards who are trying to catch her.
So, if you care to find me, look to the western sky. As someone told me lately, everyone deserves the chance to fly.
These lines are both a farewell to Glinda, letting her know where she will go, but also a very strong message from Elphaba to the people who try to bring her down. She basically throws the phrase, "Everyone deserves the chance to fly," back to the wizard's face as a declaration of her independence of him.
And if I'm flying solo, at least I'm flying free.
I always feel so mixed emotions at this point. On the one hand, my heart is breaking because taking the leap, leaving everything behind and choosing a lonely existence is a huge price to pay for anything. On the other hand, I feel uplifted because even a lonely existence that's grounded in your authentic self, freedom and liberation is better compared to suppressing yourself. You might end up alone for forever, but at least you are true to yourself and your values. And when you are free in your mind, nobody can bound you.
To those who'd grant me, take a message back from me. Tell them how I am defying gravity. I'm flying high, defying gravity, and soon I'll match them in renown.
Elphaba finally sees how strong and capable she is and empowers herself by taking her life into her hands. At this moment, she is confident in her abilities that she will be able to overcome any obstacles. She firmly believes that one day she will have as much power as the wizard and her truth will come out and she will be highly regarded for what she did and what she stood up for. In some cases, and from some people's perspective, this extreme self-confidence can be seen as arrogance. But if your intentions are pure and truly believe in the cause that you are fighting for, this extreme self-confidence might be needed to move things forward. Also, this is a highly emotionally charged moment when you are extremely pissed off by the events that happened to you. So you can instinctively take that anger and transform it to fuel your confidence in yourself and your capabilities.
And nobody in all of us, no wizard that there is or was, is ever gonna bring me down. Bring me down.
Have you ever seen somebody who was so immersed and so passionate about the cause that they were fighting for that you literally could not take your eyes off of them and you got under their spell? based on the cause that they represented, you might have been instantly hooked and won over, or you might have been terrified. But there was no doubt about that you've seen somebody with extreme power. Elphaba exhibits that heightened power here. You might cheer for her, or you might be frightened of her, but you can have no doubt that this is a powerful, capable, driven, grounded, self-empowered and independent individual who truly believes in her cause and will go through fire and water to achieve her goals. What is your opinion? Are people born wicked, or do they have wickedness thrust upon them? I personally don't think that anybody would be wicked or evil by choice, but I think that in 3 cases people can become wicked or evil. The first case is when they experience extreme trauma in childhood. That trauma can distort their personality and mental state, which can result in unacceptable social behavior if it remains untreated and unhealed, so society can perceive them as wicked and evil. In the second case, which is thankfully relatively rare, people are born with mental conditions that prevent them to integrate into society and behave according to societal norms. With the advancement of neuroscience, now we know that everybody's brain is wired in a unique way. We also know that there are people who have sections in their brains that are completely missing or not working. And if these non-working sections are those areas which are responsible for connection, compassion, seeing others' point of view, or registering others' feelings, and seeing how the individual's behavior affects others, then they can become flat-out toxic or malicious people. Once I had a colleague who was a psychopath, so I have personal experience about how these people operate. The problem with this is that because of their lack of having compassion and conscience and seeing others only as objects, these people can rise high into power and can do enormous damage to their circles, or if they are world leaders in politics or in their field, then to the whole world. But in most cases, people become wicked and evil because in some way they are different from the norm, and no matter how much they try to fit in, society still refuses to integrate them. Originally, they might be good-hearted and well-meaning people, but if society doesn't see them as such, there's nothing that they can do about it. Some of them can remain good-hearted but misunderstood and cast out people, but some of them just give up, get bitter, and after a while they just say, fine, if you see me as that person, I will become that person and I will take on the role that you want me to play. And they really start to act the way as others accused them to behave before, just out of anger and frustration, and they really become wicked and dangerous to identify with their given role. How many times it happens in real life that if you don't fit in, your surroundings mark you as the black sheep or a scapegoat, somebody who is dangerous, and by putting you down and hunting you, they can feel safe, in power and in control. Maybe we could look into the topic of scapegoats in more detail in a separate video. The song We Don't Talk About Bruno from Encanto might be a great one to discuss this topic. Or do you have any other ideas? Let me know on the Sapiego website's patrons page, sapiego.com/patrons, where you can vote for songs that you would like me to sing and review, have early access to videos and behind-the-scenes materials. Your financial support means the world to me, to be honest, because I love creating these videos, but they are very expensive and time-consuming to create. Therefore, I am really grateful for each of you who are supporting me and the channel financially so that I can create more videos for you. What are your thoughts on Defying Gravity? What did I leave out of the conversation? What I didn't consider or touched on? Let me know in the comments. I'm always interested to read your take on the songs. Apart from Elphaba, there is another famous character who used to be perceived as wicked and evil. Can you guess who I'm thinking about? Of course, I'm thinking about the Snow Queen in Andersen's fairy tale. Disney took her story and turned it on its head, creating one of the most beloved characters ever, Elsa in the Frozen movies. Elsa's self-discovery journey is as fascinating as Elphaba's, so I created a 3-part video series to discuss her personal development and growth journey, from Let It Go to Show Yourself, and how her journey applies to real life. So, let's jump to the next video, where I'm going to review Let It Go from Frozen. See you there!